Okay, so before we add this to Sequencer, let's add the sparks to it so we can control everything together. So I will just copy our fire particles and paste it on the left side, delete fluid source attributes and rename it as sparks. And I will turn off the fire for now just so that it's faster to work on. Enable sprite renderer. So we just have this, which is not bad, but we'll do a few of our standard things, which is first scale sprite size. And I want them to scale up very quickly and then slowly get smaller. 0.15 and 1 for the second point. And they are too big. So sprite size, random range, and then we can randomize the maximum again. So random range for that. And so the minimum I do 0.5, then 0.75, and then 1.25. And I want them to live a longer time. So first value 2 seconds, then 4 and 8. So some of them end up being alive much longer. Scale color. And for the scale mode, we want to control the RGBA, a linear color curve. So this way I can change the color of them over time. And I want to start with like a very bright, almost yellow, and then go into more orangey, and then it can start getting almost basically red toward the end as it dies off. And to change the brightness, I'll just add another scale color on top. And for the scale RGB, I want to say vector from float, random range between 2 and 20. And let's randomize the drag between, let's say, 0.75 and 1.25. Reduce the strength of the curl noise to maybe just 100 to 250 and then copy it. So right click, copy, and then right click, paste. And for the second curl noise, I want to reduce the frequency so we get some bigger waves. Okay, so we're almost there, and I also want them to collide with the ground. So collision module, and let's grab the Niagara system and just move it slightly higher up to maybe her knee height, something like this. All right, so with all that, we can save all and then enable the fire again. And let's look at it all together. So now let's add it all into the sequencer. So I'll make a new level sequence, Witcher course sequences SQ_fire vortex. And you can drag the Niagara system in here. You can click on the plus sign and say Niagara component. And now basically what we want is to be able to control the radius. And also we want to create those shock waves. So we want to push the flames outward. Now to push the flames, what I found works pretty well is a point attraction force. So under fire particles, you can search for point attraction force. The attraction radius I'll set to 1000. And the attraction strength, you can do, let's say, -10. And it's gonna start pushing the fire out. If you do -50, you can see what that's doing, right? So we simply need to animate this value to create those shock waves. And for that, we can create a custom parameter here. So in your user parameters window down here, you can click on the plus sign, make new, common, and you just want a float, which just means a regular number. And I will rename it attraction strength to match the name of the setting here. And I can simply drag it and replace the setting with my own user parameter. Now remember, we need to control the sparks and the fire particles at the same time. So I will copy this point attraction force, copy, go to my sparks emitter and paste. So I have the same module with the same user parameter for both emitters, which means that now I can click on the plus sign here in my sequencer, and here I have my attraction strength parameter track, which is only available here because I created that custom user parameter. So I'll select it. And now if I set this to -50, here we go. So I will extend my timeline here to, let's say, 400 frames to give us more room to work with. And before we animate this, I also want to animate the radius of the torus. So for that, we need to go to the shape location And basically we want to animate the large radius, right? So I will again go to the plus sign, make new, common float. Let's call this one torus underscore radius. And our value right now is 250. So I will set this value to 250 as well, and then just replace it over here. And same thing for the sparks, shape location, drag and replace it over here. Niagara component, plus sign, and I have my torus radius parameter track, and I can change it from 250 to 100 and get a smaller radius, or 400 and get a larger one. So that's all working and it's ready for us to animate. But I also want to animate this appearing, right? Which means I need to animate the spawn rate. So I will create one last user parameter, float, and call it spawn underscore rate, and go to my spawn rate module, set this to 5000 and replace it over here. And same thing for the sparks, replace it over here. Go to the sequencer, plus sign, spawn rate parameter track. If I set it to 0, it turns off. If I set it to 5000, it turns on. And that's it. This has been the hardest part of the setup. It's really not that bad, I think, if you're following along. I hope it makes sense how this works. So if you came this far, congrats. It's pure fun from here. We're just gonna set some keyframes and animate this. So I will see you in part 3.